girls. Wow, look at all these amazing faces in here. I am so glad that I get to come and visit you virtually. My name is Wonder Woman, and you probably know that I have some pretty amazing powers, but my most special power is I am a super reader. Your teacher is telling me that you are doing amazing work, and you are now working on how to be a super reader. So I thought I'd come and visit and read to you one of my most favorite books. This is called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. You are probably familiar with the story of the Three Little Pigs, but this is the story that the wolf is saying what happened. All right. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you know in a little secret, nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault that wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold and I ran out of sugar. So I walked down to the street to ask my neighbors for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig. And he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in their right mind would build a house out of straw? See him walking? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it felt right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, little pig, are you in?" No one answered. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch and I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed a great sneeze. Do you see how he blew the house down from his sneeze? And you know what? The whole darn straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner laying there in straw, so I ate him up. Think of it as just a big cheeseburger laying down. I was feeling a little bit better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar, so I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not by much. He had built his house out of sticks. I rang the doorbell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in?" He yelled back, "Go away, wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs of my chinny chin chin." See how he's shaving? I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down too, just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was a second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open, so I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was getting a little better, and I still didn't have a cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family because he built his house out of brick. I knocked on the brick house. No one answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in?" And do you know what that rude little pig said? "Get out of here, wolf. Don't bother me again." Talk about being impolite. He probably had the whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't even give me one little cup for my dear, sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. Then the third little pig yelled, "And your old granny can sit on a pin." Well, now I'm usually a pretty calm fella, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down the pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. So see in the newspaper it says the big bad wolf. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting, so they jazzed up the story with all of the huff and puff and blow your house down. And then they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. That's the real story. I was framed. Isn't that a silly book? Do you think he's telling the truth, or do you think the 3 little pigs were telling the truth? All right, so thanks so much for letting me come and talk with you and read to you. I'm so excited to see how your superpowers of reading and see how well you do, and keep practicing and be strong. Also remember to be kind to each other. Thanks so much.